Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. Of course the wind's going to blow now just because I've come outside. But this is what it's all about. I've decided my new life is all about taking some risks, taking some chances, stepping outside of the box that I feel like I've been in for quite a long time now, where I said no to a lot of things because I felt I couldn't do them or I didn't have the energy to do them. So there's so much to talk about today. I don't quite know where to start. First of all, welcome back to my little channel here. My name is Emma. If you've only just found me, I live in a most beautiful place. Sorry, I have to keep stopping to listen to the birds. I live in the Lake District, which is Cumbria in the northwest of the UK, northwest of England I should say. And I'm sitting today, I found a little spot. This is, if you could see that way, there's the goose house. Okay, the goose house lives over there. And there's a swing over there that my daughter used to use. We put a very big swing up many years ago. It's actually a bit of a wreck now. It was a big wooden swing that we put up and it had like bars and things on. But it's a bit past its best now because she's all grown up. So I'm sitting out here, there's an apple tree behind me, which I must tell you about because this apple tree very nearly died one year. The rabbits came and ate it. If it's not the donkeys eating things, okay, it's the rabbits. So we had a whole load of rabbits one year and they came and I can't, I'm waving my hand at you, but you can't really see it, but they kind of ringed the bark. They took a lot of the bark off the tree. So I talked to the tree and I sat with the tree and I don't know if anybody out there does anything with energy, but I did some sort of energy work with it, and whether or not that's why it is now a fantastic apple tree full of blossom this year. I don't know whether you've got apple trees where you are, but this year seems to be a particularly good year for blossom for them. So as I say, I decided I'd take a risk and come and sit outside because that's what my new life seems to be all about, is just taking a few risks, stepping outside of the box, stepping outside of the voice in my head that says, "Oh, you don't want to do that, that might be difficult, or that might be too much for you," or, you know, whatever it is that's going on in my head. So I've been doing some very brave things recently. I've told you about my bicycle. I told you last time about my wetsuit, I think, or the time before, I can't remember. These videos blend one into another. So I bought a wetsuit. I was very brave, went and bought myself a wetsuit because I really wanted to go wild swimming. It's been on my to-do list for absolutely ages. So I took myself off to a shop. That's all I had to do, was go to a local shop, buy the wetsuit, and then it sat there. But literally, about a week later, we had kind of a heat wave came to Cumbria, which is why I'm sitting outside. We've sort of got some lovely warm spring weather has come, and I thought, what do I do? And I thought, I'm going to give this a go. I was waiting to see whether I was going to meet up with some friends and do it, but actually in the end, my husband and I have been going out for some walks more regularly lately, and because we're both working a bit more flexibly, we were able to go out late afternoon, so we went to a local lake, and I actually did some paddling to start with. I put my wet shoes on and paddled. And then I put my swimming costume on, because there was nobody around, basically. It was just, we had the place to ourselves. Put my swimming cosy on and thought, well, I'll just do that because then my clothes don't get wet from my paddling. So I kind of did it in stages, and this is what I'm doing as well. When I'm taking risks and I'm pushing the envelope outwards, I'm doing it very, very gently, and I'm being very kind to myself. So I just paddled and splashed up and down in my cosy for a bit and thought, well, this is very nice. And I'm in this stunning place, you know, there's a lake, there's mountains all around me. It's so beautiful. And my husband came with me, as I say, and he sat and read his book. He had a lovely book to read. He enjoyed himself sitting in the sunshine, or sort of a bit of shade maybe. And I just messed around in the lake like a child. So then I came out again and I looked at my wetsuit in its bag and I kind of went, well, what if I just put my wetsuit on, prove to myself that I can put it on and off again by myself, and just go into the water and see what happens. So I kind of did that, put it on. Instantly you put a wetsuit on. I don't know if you've got a wetsuit or whether you've done this. You feel a bit more armour plated somehow. You've got a bit of protection. I was a little bit anxious because I had to take my glasses off, okay, which meant I can't see exactly what's going on at the foot end, as it were, when I'm paddling. But I could see enough. And it was quite stony and pebbly and a little bit of slimy bits, which are not very nice, but because I had my sort of swim shoes on, it was okay. So I just paddled out in my wetsuit and just stood there feeling like a bit of a nana in this beautiful, beautiful place with a crazy heavy-duty wetsuit on. And then I just decided I had to get in, so I just kind of got in, you know. I squatted down, let the water go up my back and went, oh, that's cold. And then within about 5 minutes, I was just splashing around and doing a little bit of swimming. And it was scary. And I was worried because I wasn't out of my depth. And I was being very careful. And my husband was sitting there. It wasn't at all reckless. But by the end, when I came out, I was feeling so proud of myself because I'd done it. And I know that next time I go, I know where to go and I know how to do it. And I'll be a bit braver. And if it's going to be a really hot summer here, I'll probably just go in with my swimming cosy on because I won't need a wetsuit. I felt like I bought this wetsuit in a cold spell and it was a little bit unnecessary for the day that we had. But once you're in the cold water, I have to say it made a difference. So that's like, wow. And I've been going out on my bike a bit more and doing that a bit more and taking myself to places that I haven't been to for a very long time. I'm kind of rediscovering myself. It's been a very long time since I've done this sort of thing. And if anybody wants to join me on this voyage of discovery, please do. If there are things that you've been thinking you'd love to do, but you've been putting them off, or things that you're scared to do, or things that you think are too difficult or too big, you know, chunk it down into bite-sized portions. You know, I bought the wetsuit and I said, well, if I put it on and off, that's an achievement. If I go somewhere with it in a bag, that's an achievement. If I put it on and it gets wet, that's an achievement. So it's like making it manageable. Yes, you can go and jump off a cliff. I was reminiscing with somebody at the weekend, actually, somebody that I met who'd been who's a diver. She doesn't dive now, but she used to dive in her younger days. And I said, well, you know, she's talking about diving off sea houses. If anybody knows sea houses in the northeast coast? Well, I'm from the northeast originally. You might be able to hear it sometimes. It pops up in my voice. And I was remembering when I was in my 20s and we went with my local ranger group that I was assistant leader with at the time. And I had a ranger leader who was just fantastic. We did all sorts of wild things with her. I learned to ride a horse. I'm not very good on a horse, but I did go on a horse because she was a great horse rider. And we went cliff jumping and we jumped off the cliff into the sea, just like that. And I can still remember doing it. What a scary thing it was to do. I can still remember doing it. What a scary thing it was to do. That feeling of just really letting go and jumping off and trusting, because you couldn't do anything about it once you'd left the cliff. You were totally in the hands of, you know, the sea. Until you landed in the sea, that was it. You were just in midair, not for very long. But I think about that and I think, well, that's the kind of feeling I want to engender in myself, the feeling that I could go and jump off the cliff again if I felt like it, if that was something I really wanted to do. And in the meantime, I'm doing my little baby steps and doing new things. I feel as though I shouldn't really be talking. I should just sit here really and let you look at the blossom and listen to the birds. It's one of these lovely spring days here and it's so perfect because it's not too hot so I can come out and do things, but it's just perfect. And the birds are just giving their best. So the other thing I was going to talk about was, oh, there's a blackbird. Hello, blackbird. It's just over there. Just beautiful, sitting there. It's come to sing to you. Isn't that lovely? Oh, yeah. Usually they sit on our rooftops. I don't know whether you have blackbirds where you are, but they often sit on the apex of the roof and just sing away. And the geese are coming, so goodness knows what's going to happen now because the geese are coming this way. I have just given them some corn, so who knows what they're going to do. I'm sitting in their area, really. So anyway, what I was going to talk about was, making the best of what you've got. So we're great recyclers in our household. We always have been, long before it became a thing. We've upcycled things in funny ways. We've always tried to reuse things, recycle things. And, you know, what we did recently in our house, I've told you, I think, that we'd taken out some old doors that were past their best. And they were free to us from us when we got some building work done. The builder brought us them from a house that was being demolished in Scotland, a Victorian old railway house that was being demolished. So they were second-hand to us, reused, repurposed by us. And now, I'm proud to say, my husband has turned them into a shed. He needed a shed for his willow because he grows quite long willow sometimes, and he's doing more and more with his willow stuff. More and more people are wanting it. He's actually going to go and do some willow weaving classes with people locally. Hello, girls. And he did some weaving with some little children at a school recently as well. So we're both kind of moving in new directions, and it's really very exciting. But he's built this fantastic shed, and he's used the old doors, and it's just wonderful, including, I have to show you, the latch that was on our kitchen door that he actually made when he went to a an ironmongery class with a local chap who does woodwork, and I suppose you call it smithing, I don't know, where you make wrought iron, anyway, over a fire, and you hit it with a hammer. And that was our kitchen door latch for many years. So now it's on the latch for his door for the shed. And I just think that's really lovely. So I'm just sitting here looking at the geese, and I will have to get them mucked out because by the time you watch this, I'm actually videoing this before we go on a little holiday. We're going up to the island of Arran, but you'll see this when we're away. And I will have to muck out the geese before I go away. So that might be what I show you this week as well, because that's really rather a fun activity. I like doing, I don't know about you, but I really like doing things that are kind of mindless, but that have a purpose, if you like. So it's not something I've got to think about, because there's so much in life, isn't there, that you've got to really think about and plan and organise and put all the details together to make it work. And see, mucking out your animals is just such a doddle, because you just go and get your gear, go and get my shovel and I've got a special long rake that I bought second-hand. We have a lovely local second-hand shop that sells old tools. So every time I use these things, they're old and second-hand, and they have this beautiful joy to them. I'm sorry, I keep looking at the geese because I just love our geese. You're so lovely, girls. You are so lovely. So I'm going to muck out the geese so that we're ready to go away. And I've got to do some thinking about food and planning and packing. We're going to Arran. I don't know how many of you have been to Arran, the Isle of Arran, off the west coast of Scotland. We're not going right up to the Hebrides this time. We're just going a bit more local, and I haven't been to Arran. It's just going to be somewhere really lovely to go with him, and we're just going to walk. It's a small island. We can walk, we can catch a bus, and we're just going to relax. And we've got really good friends and neighbours who are going to look after things for us here, which is great. So you might get to see some pictures of that. I don't know. It depends how holiday-ish I'm feeling. I do like to share, as you know, but sometimes it's really important, isn't it, just to go away and put aside all the things you usually do, because that's the whole purpose of a holiday. So we'll see. You'll find out. I'll find out in due course. So I think, as I say, really, I should just sit here. Can you hear? I'm sorry if the deck chair's creaking. I apologise. And I've no idea what else I was going to talk about, except how lovely it is to have you here, how much I'm enjoying this new way of doing my channel. I feel as though, and I hope you're feeling this too, that it's expanding what I can do here. I felt I was very sort of curtailed in what I needed to show you with the old one. This is like I can show you anything and it'll fit in with creative living, and that's all I need to do. It's just so lovely. It's making me more creative with my filmmaking, which I do love, and it's just taking me outside, out of my comfort zone, literally sitting outside here with you. What a joy, talking to you from around the world, from my little, funny little, I don't know how to describe it. You can probably see it's pretty wild, and it's full of nettles. I had to tiptoe in very carefully past the nettles. So I think we'll call that a day for today. I hope that you are having a wonderful creative time, whatever you're doing, and that it's maybe the weather's warmed up for you as well, wherever you are. If you're going into autumn, well, that's a lovely season as well, if you're in a different hemisphere. And this just comes with much love from me to you. And I'll see you again next week. And we'll see. Sorry, I just can't talk over the bird. It seems so rude. I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.